In 1694, this man killed someone in a duel and was sentenced to death. He escaped. 20 years later, he was running the entire economy of France. He invented paper money, sparked the first stock market bubble in history, and then he destroyed an entire country. This is the murderer who ran an economy. His name was John Law, a Scottish gambler, broke, on the run, and dangerously good with numbers. What he was about to pull off would make him the richest man in Europe and trigger a financial disaster the world had never seen before. Here's how it happened. France, the early 1700s. The king is dead and the country is drowning in debt. Law walks in with a radical idea. Stop using gold. Use paper. He convinces France's ruler to let him open a bank that prints banknotes. Then he builds a company, the Mississippi Company, with a monopoly on France's land in America. He promises investors a fortune, gold, silver, endless riches across the ocean. Everyone scrambles to buy shares. The price explodes. Nobody checks one small detail. What's actually over there? Here's the catch. The land he was selling, a mosquito-filled swamp. Fewer than 700 settlers, and no gold at all. The riches were a story, but the shares kept climbing, up 1900%. To keep it going, Law just printed more and more paper to buy them. Soon, there was 5 times more paper money than gold to back it. He wasn't running a company, he was running an illusion. At his peak, John Law was untouchable. He was put in charge of France's entire economy, the most powerful man in the country. The frenzy minted overnight millionaires by the thousands. A broke, fugitive gambler now controlled the wealth of a nation. It should have been impossible, but you can't print your way out of reality forever. January 1720. A few investors get nervous and start turning their paper back into gold. Then everyone does. But the gold was never there. So Law does something desperate. He makes it illegal to own gold. It doesn't work. Panic spreads. The shares collapse. The paper money becomes worthless almost overnight. France falls into a depression. By the end, the shares were worth nothing, right back where they started. The richest man in Europe had wiped out a nation's savings. In December 1720, John Law fled France in disguise. He died 9 years later in Venice, poor and almost forgotten. He gave the world its first paper money and its first great financial crash. Now you know, the murderer who ran an economy.